Okay, this is assignment 3 on processors, and I'm going to show you how to remove the processor and a little bit about it. Okay, in this computer I have, this is Intel motherboard, and it has an Intel processor on it. It is an LG A1155 socket, which I looked up online on the Intel site to find out what socket type it was for sure. This is the style of heatsink that's on here. We'll go over that a little bit first as I get it removed. There we go. I'm not really a big fan of this pop-in and style heatsink, but this is a lot older motherboard. They don't do much with them now. I believe they've discontinued them. So anyway, that's your heatsink. That little chunk right there with some thermal paste conducts all that heat off of that processor down here, and it pulls it into this. And then this fan pulls heat off of it and keeps those fins cooler, so it dissipates that heat and pulls it into the rest of the compartment. And then, as you can tell, you've got other fans in here, and that pulls that heat out, and with all the vents it sucks air through and pulls it out. So it keeps the heat out of the case and off the processor. And then this is our processor. And you can see the bottom of it with the pin set. And on top of this thermal paste, underneath all that, you actually have what core it is. It's an Intel, of course. It's an i3-2100. I don't know if you can see that in there or not. Probably not because of the reflection, huh? I can't get it focused in. But anyway, it is an i3-2100, 3.1 gigahertz. And it looks like it was made in Malaysia. And that's pretty much it. So you remove the old thermal paste, and I don't have thermal paste on me right now, but then you dab some in the middle, and I've heard different opinions of use it sparingly or use a ton of it. You just want to make sure you cover that heatsink completely up with it so it bonds well with your heat, that covers the CPU with it, so it will cover, so it will make a good thermal connection with the heatsink. And that is how you do your processor. And you can see, I didn't show you this, but there's two little tabs on this, and that's how you set that in properly so you don't ruin the CPU, so it sets on your motherboard correctly. And then you have that there's a little gold triangle on this one, shows you which direction it needs to go. And then you set your connector, connect it to the pins, and then you put this back on, plug it in. And this type of heatsink is really hard to get back on the board right, because these all have to be set and pushed open, and then when you push it in, it flares them out to keep them on the motherboard. So I don't like them as much because they don't tend to stay put correctly. They like to pop off there, and they're a lot more difficult to properly get in there. And that is your heatsink and your CPU for assignment 3.